Welcome to Edge of the Rabbit Hole. We have a, and thank you for your patience, by the way. I know we got started a few minutes late, but you know, stuff happens, and you know, it was only a couple minutes, right? So I'm Mike Ricksecker. With me, as always, is Vanessa Hogle. Our chat Shananigator, Shana, is actually with us on the show tonight. We also have a simultaneous broadcast here on Periscope. So those of you that are watching on Periscope, hello. I am actually broadcasting on the YouTube channel, Haunted Road Media, where you will also find the rest of the Edge of the Rabbit Hole show with Vanessa and Shana. And then the rest of our Mad Hatters down in the chat room. So you're going to have a weird, funky view there in Periscope. And those of you on on the YouTube eventually make it out to Periscope, and those of you on Periscope eventually make it out to YouTube, because we got stuff going on in both places. So I'm just trying to get that little cross section going on and introduce you guys to each other. So there we go. Okay, so tonight what we're going to talk about is Encounters with the Paranormal, as well as Walking with Ghosts. So Encounters with the Paranormal is the book that just came out from Haunted Road Media last week, and we have a lot to talk about with that. There's a lot of great stories within there, written by myself, Shana, Vanessa, as well as some great stories from Dave and Donna Nunnally from the Mineral Springs Hotel. Basically, what we're doing with this book is like what we did for the Goldenrod Showboat, where part of the proceeds will go to help Mineral Springs Mall, just like part of the proceeds go to help the Goldenrod Showboat from the second one. So, without further ado, Vanessa, Shana, how you doing tonight?
Wonderful.
Great. Okay. And all of our Mad Hatters, thank you for hanging out a few extra minutes there and waiting for us to get all set up here. So
they're so great, aren't they?
They are. They're awesome. Absolutely fantastic.
People.
Yeah, I mean, where would we be without our Mad Hatters, right?
True story. True story.
So,
before anybody yells at me, I'm smoking regular cigarettes because I need a new wick for my vape. I haven't jumped back on the bandwagon.
Okay.
Okay?
That's what they all say.
Yeah.
They all say that. You'll like it, Vanessa. Right? You'll like it. I also do want to throw out there that we got to move over here. Okay, there we go. We got a new shipment of ghosties in. Just came in today. So if you have not gotten your ghostie yet, you got to check them out. Get them through hauntedroadmedia.com. He is the Haunted Road Media mascot. We do the whole selfie with Ghosty, and you know, find Ghosty, where's Ghosty, all that stuff. So you guys in Periscope, there you go. That is Ghosty, our mascot. And then of course, we've put the shirts out at spreadshirt.com now, spreadshirt.com/hauntedroadmedia. So I know there's a bunch of confusion there going on with what we had with the printer that we had, and how they totally screwed up the order. So Spreadshirt does have a inexpensive option just for like regular t-shirts, so we just decided to go ahead and do that. $15.99, which is essentially what we were selling them for on Haunted Road Media. So basically now, instead of me stocking all the t-shirts, although I eventually probably want to get some out to events, I do have some extras for events. We have them out as Spreadshirt. So spreadshirt.com/hauntedroadmedia. You'll find all of that fantastic stuff out there. So and also, go ahead.
Not only that, Mike, let's make it be known to everybody who wants one, is that they actually, on this spreadshirt.com doohickey that you just said, they have multiple styles.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I mean, you can, regular t-shirt is $15.99, but you can get V-necks and like different sports styles and all stuff like that. And also the This Is Witchy Shit t-shirts are out there. I'll throw that up there, you guys, for the yeah, I know, it's awesome. So there, I'm into witchy shit. There you go. So
and we are. It wasn't a joke. It's the true story.
Sure enough. That happened the last time I had you two together on the show.
Right.
I know.
T-shirt out of the deal.
Yeah. So last time Vanessa and Shana were on the show together, the whole I'm into witchy shit thing came out. So who knows what will happen on this episode. And you guys down there on the on Periscope, thank you very much for all the hearts. That's awesome. All right. So, and also Vanessa had made a request for her book cover to be put on a T-shirt. So that's out there now too on Spreadshirt.com. So check it out.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I need to order one of those because I wanted to have it before I went to New Orleans. That's probably not going to happen because I've got so much on my plate right now. But I should have it before I go to West Virginia. And I figured, for you or for me or for anyone else, who has books with Haunted Road Media, that's advertisement. Whenever we're on a YouTube video or anything like that, that's our books right there.
Right there.
Yeah, especially, if a female's wearing it, you put it right here in the center, people are going to look.
Have you seen my old, and I haven't sold them for a long time, they might be out there at Cafe Press still somewhere, but there's an old, Shana, I need to get you one of these. There's an old,
of course.
Yes, it's a Mike Ricksecker mystery women's tank top, all right? And I wasn't going for this, it just happened. And Mike Ricksecker is put across the front in like just the right spot.
Oh no. Oh no. I got
It just happened. I saw a picture with somebody wearing it. It was like, wow, okay. Good job.
That is a hoot. That is so going to happen. Yeah. That is going to happen. So, yeah, just for anyone who's wanting them, all different types of shirts that we have through Haunted Road Media can be found on that website. Order at your leisure. We won't be mad at you.
No. And that's Lynn's White down in Periscope. Thanks, Lynn, for all the hearts. All right. Well, let's get into it now. So we have Encounters with the Paranormal. Let me put the book cover up on the screen. And now Shana has been there, and Vanessa, we need to get you there. So
yeah.
So,
yeah. I need there's I need to put the water.
Yeah. We almost had you out there one time. Okay, there's the book cover. So this book, there is, what do we have? 16 contributors to it. And it has a 50-plus page spread on Mineral Springs. So now this hotel, very historic, was built in 1910. Originally, they were drilling for a well because they needed ice for their slaughterhouse. So it was originally a slaughterhouse on this location. And they hit a spring. So they decided, instead of doing the whole slaughterhouse thing, to go ahead and start bottling the water. And then because, this is early 20th century where, bathing in mineral springs was kind of a real, really popular, they built this whole hotel on top of it. And one of the pools in there, at least one of the pools, you could, of course, bathe in the mineral springs. So very, very haunted location, a lot of activity. We just posted a video the day after the release of the book. We posted a video on our last investigation there, and there was somebody up there that was some woman that was up there really connecting with Shana. So Shana, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that particular night, when I went upstairs, usually I'm armed with crystals and stuff like that, and I didn't do that this time. And I could really tell the difference. I pretty much was Mike's shadow while we were up there.
Yeah.
It felt like all kinds of somebodies were like trying to get at me all at one time. I couldn't even look, even in my peripheral, into any of the rooms that we were passing. I mean, and I have never been really legit scared, like terrified or anything like that. And I've had some crazy stuff happen to me, thrown at me, and all that. So we went down and armed in my bra with all of my crystals, and immediately felt much different going upstairs. And I could feel that it was female. I could almost see without seeing what she might look like. But I certainly didn't really hear her out loud. So, but there was definitely somebody up there kind of following us around. Everywhere you go in there is like that. There's always somebody with you.
Yeah, that's when we were up there, it really seemed like there was definitely somebody up there. I mean, I kept feeling the tingles on my arms, all of that. We heard the scrape of the chair go across the floor, and then just going back over the video and the audio from that, you're hearing the voice, somebody say your name. It sounds like your name. There was humming. There was, I think the question was, where are you going? We were going from one room to the next, and so there was a lot of stuff going on up there. All within, we weren't even up there that long, I don't think, were we?
No, it was literally in the span of just a few minutes. But the humming part, that part interests me the most, because it's not marked in the video, so you have to actually watch and listen. But we're asking questions, and it's either a female humming or it's a child with a higher pitched voice speaking, and it goes on for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it went on quite a while. And then when we went downstairs, we were getting somebody down there too.
Yeah, I think the EVP sounds like Helga.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in the room before the entrance to the pool.
Right.
Which I think is also the room that we saw the white mist.
Right. Yeah, you saw it first when we first walked in there. I had panned the camera around to try to, reactionary. You said you saw something down there, so I'm panning the camera around, and then I thought I saw, like on the other side of that chair that was down there, it just kind of fly by real quick. I didn't catch it with the camera though. But Mineral Springs is really, really a happening spot. We had the other video prior to that where we investigated with Lee and Chris, and all kinds of EVPs over the water. That was really a fantastic video, a lot of fantastic captures there, just over the water.
Mike, isn't that the place when you guys were there with, I don't know if it was the time when you were there with Lee and Chris?
Yep.
But downstairs, is that the pool area, Shana?
Right.
Down there, there's a room off to the side from that, and isn't that where you had the, almost like a little cyclone in the center of the room? Am I thinking of the same place?
Yeah. That's the same place, but that was downstairs in the slaughterhouse area.
That made me so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I actually had to turn y'all.
Did you really? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that was right outside and I should have had that as a pic. That was right outside the creepy doors that go into the slaughterhouse area, and that all the way at the far wall is the spring, which is really wide, but it's all filled in right now. But yeah, that was downstairs. That was down there.
That's it. I'm not saying it's evil or nothing, and I haven't been there, but just the vibes I got off of what y'all filmed, that didn't have a good feeling to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy, different kinds of energy, and I think there is a little bit of some darker energy in the building. And Chris said that it's mostly what he feels down there is usually Native American energy.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I can't even put a label on what I feel down there. It just feels like just in different parts there's just, if I could see everybody, all of the spirits down there, I don't think that I could move very far without bumping into something. I mean, it just feels full down there. But at the same time, as much as it's going on down there, I also feel pretty peaceful down there a lot. Now, I wouldn't be down there by myself, but it definitely feels peaceful down there. It's just so dark. It's like advanced darkness, you know. It's so dark you can almost feel it unless you turn your phone on or a flashlight on or something like that. But it's just incredibly active down in there.
It's weird because when you explain it, what I see in my head is what I would call crawling darkness. And it's almost like it undulates. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's definitely like, you know, like you're walking through something, like a substance. Like it has substance to it, you know. It just feels different than the regular air, like in the rest of the parts of the building. It just feels way different.
See, that is so bizarre. And it's weird because when you speak of it, because, I mean, you know how I roll. What I'm almost envisioning is if you were to turn off all the lights in a club, every bit of the lights, but you had the fog machine on, how that ease the air down. You can't see it, but you can feel it. But the funny thing is the thing that I'm feeling from the downstairs of it, what we were just talking about, feels like it starts under the building and almost branches out. I know that sounds really bizarre, but it's like it's in the center of that room and then it branches out to each of the corners of the room. Almost, well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to go ahead and agree with Chris. What I'm feeling is like the almost like the medicine man shaman TP with the smoke and the passing of the pipe and stuff. It's really bizarre.
Well, I imagine there is some of that there because they are along the river, and of course, Native Americans being there for hundreds, thousands of years in that area. I mean, Shana, the is it Piasaw, whatever that is, caves? Yeah. They're right down the road, so it's probably or probable that just tapping into that spring, they might have dug something up. We don't know.
Very well could have. I gotta go.
Yeah. The way you said it, I thought you were like gonna go.
Yeah, no, I want to come.
Vanessa's gotta go.
I gotta find some place in this schedule to do it. You know, we figured it out one time. What is it? 8-9 hours away from me.
Something like that. Yeah, it's about 8 hours.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, because I figured out somewhere along the way that like Shauna's like halfway to Oklahoma, and so yeah, that's like right around in there.
Well, I don't leave for Ireland until March. If the weather holds out and you go there sometime in February,
yeah, we'll go there whenever.
Awful, let me know because it wouldn't take much to get there. Tank of gas. And a place to stay for the night. So, I mean, it couldn't, in my car, trust me, just a tank of gas. Yeah.
Right.
I can do it. Gonna have to do it.
Now,
I forgot what I was gonna say.
I did want to talk real quickly. This thing is working a little slow. I should have rebooted at some point today, but I didn't. So trying to go back and forth between the screens is like, I wanted to bring up the pool. So there's Shana at the pool.
Yes.
Yes. So Shana, you want to talk a little bit about the pool, and then we'll move on a little bit.
Well, I think that my story that I really describes it the best because I have a fear of drowning. Like I cannot swim. And whenever I get in that pool, I still, even though there's no water in it, I still have a little bit of that anxiety. And then actually getting down into the middle, especially walking up towards the back corner of the pool, it's even more. And I have to wonder if it's my own anxiety because it's a pool and I cannot swim, or if I'm feeling the emotions of the child that actually drowned in that pool. because there's definitely a child there. They call her Cassie. I don't know if that's documented or not. I can't.
Yeah, I don't know. They've been calling her that, but I don't know.
And I have a question. When you had that picture pulled up, because I'm not trying to assume anything, but did y'all notice that purple light?
Oh, I know what she's talking about. I'll bring it back up. I know what she's talking about.
I just need to know if that is...
Yeah, right there. Those on Periscope can see that I'm pointing at the glow because I have Periscope pointed right at it. It's right at the base of the stairs. And, it's something that we have to go back and recreate because, a lot of times, I'm holding a flashlight and shining it around, but there's so many lights on that I should not have been holding a flashlight and shining it right there.
Well, and your flashlights aren't purple, Mike.
Actually, I do have a UV light flashlight.
Yeah, but there would be a stream to it.
Yeah. So it's one of those that, yes, that could be something right there, but I want to go back and recreate it just to make sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but that's pretty bright.
It is.
And it's not showing any source, like there's no line leading to it that you might see with the flashlight. And the thing is, even if you had a UV light, you would have to be pretty flippin' close for it to be just right there.
Yeah, I'm not close enough really with the UV light to make that. So it would have to be my regular flashlight, which could make that distance. The other alternative is that Shana's phone in her hand, because she's pointing down in that direction, and a lot of times she does have a flash that goes off, but that's not the right color for the flash.
No, and that would have to be a hella phone. I would want one. Okay? Because
I'm just throwing out the possible alternatives there, because as good investigators, that's what we have to do.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely. Was that taken with your regular camera, Mike?
I was taken with my iPhone 7.
Your iPhone 7. You can actually take your iPhone to Walmart, plug it in, and print that picture out.
Well, sure. Yeah.
And see if it shows the same thing.
Somebody who's saying, Robert White is saying it does light up the inside of the second stair up.
Yeah, it seems to surround the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah.
So, and the funny thing is if it was coming from, here's the odd thing, when you're looking at this picture, and I look at a lot of pictures for people, if that was coming from Shauna's phone, then what you would see, if it was a light cast from her phone, you would see the shadow of the stairs.
Well, yeah, and I was about to say that if it's coming from her phone, there's not going to be light under the stairs.
Exactly, you would see it in shadow.
Yeah.
So that is really bizarre.
Yeah, the light is coming.
I can't believe we're just noticing that.
Yeah.
I just blew it off as a flash from somewhere. I mean, initially, it didn't even occur to me to get into too many details. I blow stuff off so much, that I'm like, I don't know, and, I did notice, that it was kind of large, covered, a little bit of area, and I had my flashlight on until he turned the lights on. When he turned the lights on in the building, I turned my flashlight off because what's the point,
Exactly.
Yeah, and I usually, if it's well lit, I don't even, a lot of times I'll try to take pictures with flash and without flash just to see the contrast, whether I need it or not.
It was kind of interesting.
What?
You guys can't see how I'm positioned, but I'm like leaning over the my phone. I have my phone, because I have Periscope going, pointed at the laptop screen where the photograph is at, and looking at what Periscope is showing me back at me in the video. That glow is a hell of a lot brighter.
It's fairly significant.
Yeah, but it's brighter than what you're seeing it right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we're seeing it and it's significant, it's got to be pretty damn significant on your end.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
let's see. Joanne Rubino saying, on the right of the pool, there's someone looking at Mike. On the right of the pool. I don't know if you guys see that.
Okay, Joanne, are you talking about the fella that is standing, okay, next to the 1, 2, 3, 4, the closest pipe or pillar to me, from how I'm looking at the picture? You see that rust stain that's going down the side of the pool? The gentleman that I see is directly behind that, almost even with the pillar. So I'm wanting to know if that's where she's seeing him, because that's the guy I see. He's
Interesting.
I remember, Mike, I can't remember if you were there or not, but Dave, the last time I was in Mineral Springs, he says that there was a guy down there in the pool, and he's supposedly this really nasty man, and I don't remember what he's done, but it's he likes young girls.
Yes, he's a
actually. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
and
Dave says that.
Go ahead.
Dave says that he actually physically tells him, whenever I'm in the pool, you stay away, and that's the area where he kind of lurks.
Yeah, it's in that back corner, and I know Lee caught something in a photo before back there. And he was trying to say that that the shape of it looked like a demon. I'm like, Lee, it's not a demon, but it could be something. And I know that when we've investigated back there, been down in the pool, but it did sound like there were, shuffling, things moving around from back in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this guy, I would put him at about 5'11". Doesn't have a whole lot of hair. It's kind of in a comb-over state. Narrow shoulders. He's more of what you would call a pear-shaped man. He's bigger through the belly and the upper legs and narrows down. He's got really ugly big feet. He's wearing swim trunks. And it's weird because he's in a pool, but he has a cigar. So, and I mean, it's weird. It's one of those, and I'm sure you probably smell really bizarre things there, but it has that odd odor. It's not one of the fruity smelling cigars. Okay. It almost smells like urine.
Oh, wow. Hey, a couple quick things. I just want to throw out, Tom McNicholas he's on Periscope, and he was confirming the brightness of the light. But also, got to give it up for Lynn's White. She's both on Periscope and in the chat on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. Thank you, Lynn.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she is. So I don't know how you're doing that, both between Periscope over there and and YouTube over there. That's awesome. So.
And I thought I was doing good by having the chat on my phone.
Oh, I know. So, and there were other people like when we were talking about the guy back there, Joanne Rubino said, yes, that's what she was talking about. And Doreen Kisnorbo said that she saw him too. So, other people are confirming what everybody's seeing back there.
Okay. Yeah, he's kind of an asshole. He's weird because he's trying to give off that good fella vibe.
Uh-huh.
But he's not a good fella.
Okay.
He's like a good fella wannabe.
So, and I'll show you guys one more time. Lynn's is saying phone on scope, tablet on YouTube. That's awesome. So there's the photo one last time, guys.
Bless her.
All right.
Yeah, we need to look deeper into that because that's pretty damn bright.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So. All right. Well, I didn't know we were going to go all there. It was just that's the pool picture, and but no, that's cool. That's cool that everybody's chiming in on that. So that's one of the things that we do. Hang on. There were. Sorry, Andrew Cox. You had a comment that went in there that was okay, and the chat flagged it. Sorry, I couldn't get to it. It zoomed by. But you're okay.
Yeah, he would put up with that there.
Yeah. All right. So, well, very cool. Very, very cool. I'm glad we were able to get into the bowels of Mineral Springs since Yeah, see, Vanessa, it just flagged you. This guy's about 45 to 50, ugly fella, and I have to show that? I have to click on show for that? Really? That doesn't even make any sense.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, that's kind of
It's
weird.
not okay to call somebody ugly?
I guess not. Calling somebody ugly is no for chat. Hey guys, thanks for the super hearts down there in Periscope. That's awesome. Really appreciate it.
Oh my
That's
goodness,
awesome.
bless them.
Yeah, you guys are fantastic.
I was trying to remember, because, I mean, I've slept since then, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember, which story did I put in?
You put in the story, yeah, because I was actually gonna go there. Let's get to your stuff. Joseph.
Oh.
So this is a Cropsy story. Those of you that aren't familiar, we did a Cropsy episode, Edge of the Rabbit Hole, what was it, about a month and a half ago, and then Vanessa and her group, Threefold. They're going to be coming out with a documentary on this. But Joseph is tied into Cropsy here.
Yes, it was really bizarre. Okay, me and Rachel and Julia were doing our investigation, and it was weird how it took us to so many different places, but I'll tell you why. This is what's strange. One thing that I learned while investigating Cropsy that I never knew. I've done this my whole life. I never knew this. I never knew that spirits who you would never think they would communicate with each other to help the living.
I know they communicate with each other. I have evidence of them communicating with each other.
I've never experienced it. I've never experienced it on this level. Okay? Phil, who is the owner of the Horsefly Chronicles house, his wife, Julia, is the Julia that was with me when we were investigating Cropsy, because Holly Ann Hughes was her childhood classmate and friend. And Holly Ann was one who was reportedly kidnapped by Andre Rand, raped and killed.
Right.
Allegedly. Okay? Well, Phil has his own attachment, whose name is Sarah. She's been with him for decades. He was communicating with Sarah in Easton, Pennsylvania, while on the phone with us in Staten Island, telling us what she was talking about with someone named, with a boy, she didn't say who, with a boy who was at, I believe it was St. Andrew's Cemetery in Staten Island. We get to St. Andrew's Cemetery. It's at the bottom of, hell, I can't remember the name of it, but it's this old cemetery, beautiful. And we walk in one way, and we're walking through it, and he just hits me. And he tells me Joseph. And so I start communicating with Joseph, and he's telling me all about himself, and he's communicating very well through the, what do you call those, Shana, the little doohickey that goes from light green to red, the little detector thingy. What is that?
Talk about
K2.
K2.
The K2 meter?
Sure. I don't know. It's a little light thingy, because I don't know what that shit is.
K2 meter.
Sure. There we go. And he's communicating quite well through that. And it's kind of taking me different places in the cemetery, leads me on to this little bridge, this decorative bridge. And for whatever reason, I to this day don't know, except for when I walked off of it, we did a little bit more talking to him. And then I was like, okay, well, I have to pee, and we're hungry, so let's leave. And so we started to, and we started to walk out of the cemetery a different way than we came in. And I had Rachel behind me, and I'm walking along, not paying attention to anything, and I hear her, go, oh, my God. I'm like, what? Because I have to pee, so don't scare me. And I know, right? There's a shirt for you. I have to pee. Don't scare me.
You'll find it on spreadshirt.com/howtoronmedia tomorrow.
And so she goes, Vanessa, look at this. And I look down and I see a tombstone. And it has, 2 separate names on it, male and female. And one of them was Joseph. And I said, well, hell, that could be anybody. I said, Joseph's a common name. And she goes, no, you don't understand. She said, that is the same Joseph who the bridge was that you were led to and walked all over. She had seen the plaque on the other side of it that I didn't see. Before she saw that after I'd already been calling him Joseph and talking to him. And it was really weird because even though he was an old man when he passed, he came to me as a little boy. And that was exactly what Sarah, who is Phil's guide, had told him would happen. And he had answered questions about the Cropsy case. He had actually answered questions through that light doohickey about the Cropsy case. Totally not involved, totally nothing. But it just goes to show you that, you know, they do communicate, they do try to help, and they know stuff we don't know. We just have to figure out the right questions to ask.
Hey Vanessa, we have a question for you from the chat room. This is from Crazy Canuck, which I know is you, Patrick. Vanessa, have you ever seen a really scary spirit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few.
I know you have.
Yeah, I have seen them, had them jump inside. I actually had about 20 of them jump inside me one time. And if the team that I was with, I've told this before, so I'm not going to tell the whole story again, but if the team that I was with hadn't have acted in the fast way that they did, I wouldn't be on this show tonight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here.
That's true.
The 20 that I had in me were leading me to my death. And I don't mean to sound all melodramatic. That's just a fact. Yeah. They were leading me to an extremely active highway to get to another house that was connected by family to the house we were investigating. And they knew we were trying to get rid of them, and they had another place to go. And they were going to use me as a vessel to get there.
Yep.
Thank heavens for Gwen and Chris and the rest of the BPI gang, because I owe them my life.
And where can people find out more about that?
Oh, good gravy. That would be in the book, Walking with Ghosts, which has done super good. Thank you, guys. Right. I love you. Big business.
Let's put it up there.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. There got 2 5-star reviews today. One from Sri Lanka and another one from the UK. So this book actually hit the top 10 consecutively. Is that the right word, Shana? In the US, the UK, and Canada. Me!
That's awesome.
Holla! Happy dance!
All right.
Sorry.
Now I'm going to toss the Encounters book back up there on the screen because basically I have the phone pointed at my laptop screen right now so that Periscope can see what's going on with you guys. I'm going to do a different setup next time. This is kind of like a learning curve because it's the first time I've done a simulcast like this. So.
Well, no one needed to see my happy dance anyway. It was atrocious.
Oh, better than my dancing.
No one needs to do that, you know.
So, so Walking with Ghosts, Encounters with the Paranormal. Links to both books are down in the description. We made sure to put those in there so that you guys will have access to that. So be sure to check it all out. Andrew Rubino says, awesome job, Vanessa, on your book.
Thank you.
And Donna, thank you for, I didn't see what Angela said, but yeah, please, all caps. Donna's trying to help out in the chat because our chat Shananigator is with us here on the show.
I know, she's right there.
And also another way for me to be able to see it really clearly is, of course, that super chat option is always there. So, because that'll come up in different colors and pin it to the top and all that crazy stuff. Okay, another one that I wanted to talk about, and we'll talk more about Walking with Ghosts too. Here we have a lot of time left, actually. And Vanessa, I know you've seen some of this stuff. So, and you know what? I didn't even put any of the pics in here. I don't know why I didn't. But we did the Kempsville grade school. And that was the one where, I'm going to put this phone down for a minute because my arm is, thank you for all the hearts there, guys, on Periscope. My arm is getting sore, so I'm going to put you guys over there for a minute. Now, I know you've seen the photos, Vanessa, and some of the video footage and all that, and we've talked a little bit about it here. I think we've talked a little bit about it here before on the show. But in any case, Kempsville Grade School, which is where Shana went to school at when she was a kid, there's a lot of stuff going on between the footsteps that we kept hearing, the voices, there was Shana, there was that EVP where, there was like a 2-syllable word, then you start feeling nauseous and started walking away, and then somebody told you bye. We caught the shadow person there, the shorter shadow person, and then the woman at the bottom of the stairs. So, Shana, have at it. Talk about your old school and what's going on there.
I never noticed anything at all the whole time I was going there. During various events that were held there, I didn't feel anything until I moved back to town, and it was about, I don't know, in between 2000 and, it was around 2010-ish, probably, something like that. And I was just going for a nightly walk, and I always used to walk by there, that was on my way to where I was going, and I saw this pretty good-sized ball of light appear in the middle of what would have been my 3rd and 4th grade classrooms, and it was about, if I had to guess, about the size of my fist, and it was just there. It just manifested in the middle of the room, and it was about the color of, wasn't quite yellow, but it was about the color of like a candle flame, really. And then it kind of hovered for a little bit, and then it looked like it went through the wall into the next, whatever the next room was. And it was right then that I decided that, hey, maybe I should try to get back into my old school. And it was closed, but due to all the flooding, their local American Legion, the local VFW, had to close and move, and the only place that was open was that was available that they would do it was the newer part, the add-on of the old school. So it would have been my 1st and 2nd grade classroom and my cafeteria that got turned into a bar, pretty much. So my dad was one of the guys helping with the construction, so he had keys to the entire building, and I said, hey, can we maybe investigate this school? So God is love him. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't have gotten back in there. So, and it was, even from the first investigation, it was pretty cool. There was a lot of activity. There were several times that we thought that he had come back into the building, and of course he didn't, because he always knows to announce himself so that we can tag it for audio. So he's starting to learn,
that, yeah.
How to do that. Yeah. He always does that. So we knew it wasn't him. We never really saw anybody, so we can't really identify, man, woman, child, whatever. But it's been like that. The footsteps upstairs, didn't really hear those.
Yeah, and there's no upstairs, though.
I kind of feel like those would probably be residual.
Yeah.
They'd have to be, because there's no 2nd floor. But we didn't hear it then, and it may be because the group of people that I had with me, we were not really notorious for being quiet during investigations, and I kind of like a few minutes to just really listen, instead of you seeking out the building and the energy, let the energy come to you. I call it ghost watch.
Yeah.
Where you're just kind of sitting vigil, just kind of sit and watch and just listening and just opening up and just letting whatever comes. Give them a heads up. We're just going to be quiet, and let you do your thing. So if you want to come chat, come over, whatever it is you want to do. Now's time. The floor is yours. So, so there wasn't a lot of that going on then. But investigating with Mike is a different story because he kind of likes to do it the same way. So, thank you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, Shana and I have very similar investigative styles, so we make a fantastic team, which is great.
We don't make a fantastic team anyway.
Thank you. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Shana Zippy Davis has a question for you. Did you sense anything there that may have known who you are?
I kind of felt like I said, I have not been open to the paranormal for maybe about 10 years. I mean, it really hasn't been that long. I didn't really notice anything as a child. So it could very well be something that had connected with me then, while I was going to school there. And then, who knows? It very well could have. I mean, it seemed to... I felt like I was being followed around by something, and it felt like the same something all the time. And especially during the times whenever Mike and I would separate, and then all of a sudden, there something would be. So,
yeah, it seemed like it kept trying to draw us apart.
We talked about that before, remember? Yeah. That it was trying to get Shana alone.
Yep.
And there were a few times, there's a couch in the hallway, and I like to sit, if I'm alone, I like to sit with my back to something. Because anytime my back is open, something's on it.
Yeah.
Up, down, somewhere, I'm going to get it from behind. And so I sit on that couch, and the first thing that happened as soon as he was, out of eyesight is something coming up and bumping into the couch enough to, shake the whole thing with me on it. And just no warning, just stuff like that happens. I don't always get a heads up. But whatever it was strong enough to move the couch. So, with my weight on it, and was it a kid? I have no idea. Could be anybody. I mean,
yeah.
You bring up an interesting point, though, Shana. Just when you said, always sitting with your back to something when you're trying to investigate because something's on it if you don't, and that's something that I have found to be so true, and one of the reasons why after my first time in Virginia, I started really shielding, because nothing ever jumps me from behind. It's always right back here where it gets me. Do you notice the same thing? I mean, do you think it's because we can see them that it does that? Because I never really hear anyone else talk about that.
Yeah, I feel like they know the exact second that I don't have somebody behind me, because nothing like that touches me from behind. Like if Mike's behind me, I don't feel that. But as soon as he's not behind me, I can't get in front of him fast enough. And it doesn't matter what kind of grounding or shielding I do. Now, I've been goosed, and I've been, poked and prodded, and I've had my hair, all kinds of stuff from behind.
Yeah, we kind of have a rule that when going up the stairs, Shana is not the one at the back. She's the first one up.
Hell no. I'll go into anywhere first, and I don't care how bad or scary. I don't care. I'll walk into a room first,
But not
I'm
last.
fine with that. And I'll even be in the middle, but there cannot be a wide open space behind me at all, ever. I don't like it.
It's to be all about the ass.
Yeah, that's right. Even in the afterlife, just people, they don't change, I mean, it's all about the ass, right?
They're all about the ass.
And when it comes to Shana, I have an opinion about that.
But it's true. It's true. You would expect, especially male ghosts, to maybe be breast men. No, it's all about the ass. It's that sneak attack.
Well, there is the ectogasm.
Yeah, that ectogasm.
That ectogasm, and I know you all want that shirt too.
I have a picture with one that's obviously a breast man.
Yeah. Well, that was the Gropes of Wrath episode on my ghost story.
Gross.
That's what they called it.
I mean, he definitely was copping a feel of my chest. I mean, you can see it. It's his and on the side of my face. Like he was going for some type of advanced hug or something.
I think it was more than an advanced hug.
These days.
Yeah, it was a hug.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I am. I have not, thankfully, been a participant in the whole ectogasm bonanza. Okay. I have not, of which I'm very grateful. But like I said, it's always about the ass, and that's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they'll come. I've had them come up and literally grab both cheeks, which I mean they're impressive. So I mean it takes some force to do that, you know. So I'm really, I was just wondering if it was. It's obviously not just a me thing. So
no.
I'm glad that we're in the same redheaded ass grab spooky club. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy.
All right, we got to get to some comments from chat. So let me put this phone back down real quick. Okay. So, and thank you guys at Periscope for continuing to hit the hearts. Really do appreciate that. We'll get you a better setup next time because I've been kind of just holding it there for you guys. Okay. Angela Hogan, I forgot to get to this because I scrolled by it earlier. This is, I believe, toward you, Vanessa. She says, I see her spirits are behaving tonight. Lights are staying on. So I guess
we have come to an agreement.
Come to an agreement?
Yes.
What is that agreement?
Leave my stuff alone or I'll make you leave.
Nice.
I used to think that I was stuck. That there was nothing I could do about it.
Oh.
I am now aware that there is much I can do about it. But I also have stuff to learn about why a particular one stays with me. And I want to learn that before I make him go bye-bye. But we have an agreement. Leave me the fuck alone. Don't mess with my stuff, and we will learn from each other.
There you go.
Yeah, it's
one
of those
agreement.
They're talking about
and they're adhering to the agreement.
Huh?
As long as you have an agreement and they're adhering to the agreement.
Yeah, well, so far, I really was worried that the release of the book would give him more power. Yeah. And it actually seems that it's taken it away.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I'm pretty pleased with that because I mean no one has seen him behind me or anything since the release of the book.
Good.
So, and that's I thought so. I was pretty happy. So we're just gonna wait. We're gonna wait it out and see what happens.
Okay. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about Walking with Ghosts in just a second, but first we have to answer a question from Andrew Cox. This is for Shana and I. He wants to know, Shana, if anything has ever followed you or I home from Mineral Springs. Not me.
Not to my knowledge. And actually, I've never really had anything like reach out mentally, metaphysically, however you want to say it, like it has with Vandalia and the cemetery local here. Haven't really had anything reach out. Mm-hmm. So apparently the grounding and shielding thing must be working at Mineral Springs.
That's
because,
good.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You pack it pretty good when you go.
I think that maybe they know your intentions going in there. I mean, you guys hold Mineral Springs in such high regard that aside from the perverted asshole that I saw in the pool, you know, and whatever that little tornado doohickey is that that I saw in your video, everything else there feels like it's meant to be there. And like they're not going to try to hurt you or interfere with you because your intentions are pure.
Well, and it could be that they, maybe they picked up on what we were doing with the book, because we first suggested it to Donna and Dave there, at the old hotel.
Yeah.
So they may have picked up on that somehow. I don't know. What do you think, Shana?
I think spirits perceive a lot more than we give them credit for sometimes.
Absolutely.
I think they can probably, divine our innermost thoughts sometimes, and I think they eavesdrop on a lot of conversations. And that's a good thing. I mean, so at least, they know going in, and we know, it's, I kind of like them having a heads up.
Oh my God. Okay. Hang on. Let me get it back to the video on you guys real quick, and then I have to. It's one from the chat. And this is from Donna Gorton, one of our Cheshire Cats. And our Cheshire Cats are those that help out with Facebook and a lot of other things too, not just Facebook, but they actually do a lot of things behind the scenes, mailing out flyers and all kinds of stuff. This is from Donna Gorton, and it's her, Bonnie Halperin, and Tammy Sifford. But Donna's suggestion for the Ectogasm T-shirt: Ectogasm, you'll never see them coming.
I think that's gotta happen.
Woo!
I think that has to happen.
Hashtag ectogasm, you'll never see it coming. Wow.
I think that must happen.
Okay. I know there's only like 20 other T-shirt designs I'm in the middle of, and hoodies. I know.
Hey, Mike, yeah. I'll draw it out. I'll send it to you. You add the wording.
All right.
Okay. So,
right.
what was I going to say here? Tammy Heitzman actually made a very good, possibly very true statement that I hadn't thought of. That just made me a little uncomfortable, and I want to thank you for that, Tammy. She said maybe the reason that I'm not having issues with said person, is because what he wanted was notoriety, and I gave it to him.
Maybe.
So, I mean, that's something I wouldn't really have thought about too terribly much, and I am now. Thank you, Tammy. But what do you think, Shauna? You think that's a possibility?
Well, it might be. I mean, not only did you give notoriety too, but you also kind of purged it, out on paper too. When you purge something, I just think the control kind of shifts more to you. Yeah.
That's very true. Okay. Alrighty. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that. And thank you, Tammy, for making me look at that in a different light, because, he wasn't so nice to me. And it was something to put that down on paper. So I think you're right. I think I did take my power back. I do. I like that. I like that idea.
Yeah, I like that too. Since we're talking about walking with ghosts, and I didn't think of it before. Was that because I think we had Mark Anthony on, and I put him on the day that your book was released. It's like, oh man, we should have had him on the following week and then talked about your book. So
he was great.
He was. Oh yeah, we had a fantastic time with Mark. Hope to have him back soon. What can people expect with Walking with Ghosts?
Oh goodness, I curbed my cursing. Okay. So your kid can read it a little bit. Honestly, what I think what I accomplished with it, what I wanted to accomplish with it, was being as openly blunt and honest about my experiences in a way that lets people know this isn't like it is on TV. It's not, you don't always hold the power. You aren't always invincible against something you can't see. And I think that was probably my most important message to get across, is there are times that Marie Vargas has put this out there, that there are stuntmen in Hollywood. Well, you know what? We're the stuntmen of the paranormal, mediums and psychics and stuff, because we put ourselves out there in ways that a standard investigator just can't. They just can't do it. Not that they don't want to, but they can't. When you have these abilities and you open yourself up to receive that communication or that interaction, it takes a very long time to be able to distinguish between harmful and non-harmful. And that's what I wanted people to know, is this has its fun moments. It has its coolness. People think you're kind of quirky and kind of neat, you know, and you got this weird vibe about you that people seem to be impressed by. But it's also an extremely lonely and tiring and confusing life.
Yeah.
And that is what Hollywood and people that are less than honest about their experiences, that's what they fail to tell people, is exactly the price you pay for doing this. And it's a big one. It's ruined relationships. It's cost me family. Everything you can think of.
Well, and it seems like it's also cost you, time, because there's things that happen to you where, I don't know if it's like you black out, something happens, you wake up and you're somewhere else and something else is going on. Exactly.
And that happens a lot, you know. I mean, I'm lucky. My son got to witness it for the first time in Virginia, and then got to witness it again in New Orleans when me and Jana took him last September. And I'm lucky that I've raised my son to understand what to do and to be okay with it, so he knows how to deal with it. I'm lucky that I have surrounded myself with people who know how to handle me when that stuff happens. Because in New Orleans, I'm honestly surprised on one of my trips down there I wasn't arrested.
Yeah, well, some of the stories you have from that, and that's with that's in Giving Up the Ghost.
That's in Giving Up the Ghost. Yeah, I'm not the kind of gal that just breaks into someone's house.
Right.
I don't do that. But it wasn't me. You know, and that's what Jana calls my super spidey speed. You know, when something hops in, I just take off.
Right.
You know, and in Gwen's videos on YouTube with BPI, you'll hear her chasing me. You know, and she said, they weren't kidding. Damn, this girl can run. You know, and y'all, you see, I'm squishy. I'm not an athlete.
You know, and Vanessa, that's actually one of the first things that I heard about you before I even met you, was that there is something that just happens to you and you just take off flying.
Yeah. I could win the Olympics.
Yeah.
When one of those things gets in me. At one point in time, Gwen said that it was almost like my feet weren't touching the ground. And this is in Hollywood Cemetery. Apparently I kicked off my shoes and literally started running at a full speed, and it almost looked like my feet weren't touching the ground.
Wow.
It was a full Olympic sprinter speed. That's so not me, y'all. Okay? That's not me. I'm a short little fucker. I can't run like that, okay? Not anymore. So it's those things that I just wanted people to know. We laugh about it, and it's funny now.
Oh, it's after the fact. While it's going on, not so much.
While it's going on and you have no idea that the abuse is happening to your body, it's not fun.
Right.
Right after, when you can't walk, it's not fun. And so that's what I wanted people to know. And I think I got that across.
Yeah.
I hope so. I got that across.
Well, as your publisher, I say you do. All right. So, Shana, going back to Encounters, and let me get that screen back up. And I don't know why it's taking so long to get the screens up today. Your other story in Encounters with the Paranormal, which has, like I said, 16 contributors. There's tons of stories in there from all over the country. The focus on Mineral Springs is just the last 50 pages, but you get like all kinds of historic photographs and all that. We can't thank Dave and Donna Nunnally enough for all of that. But you had a story about Vandalia, which is something that's fairly recent here that you experienced. So you talked about your experiences there and the boy there.
Yeah, he was kind of a surprise, really, because I discovered him by wandering off alone, which is something that I never do. But for some reason, I felt from the moment I stepped in that building compelled to get upstairs immediately. And so I wandered up there by myself and came up these stairs, and we have pictures. The stairs where they are now aren't where they used to be. So and before you can even get to the top of the stairs, there's a room right there.
That's really weird.
Right before the top. It's so weird. Didn't really feel too good about looking into that room, but I got up to the top of the stairs, and I went to the end of the hall and kind of stood there for a minute and kind of felt the place out, and then I started going back, and then I found myself in between, with my back to the wall in between the two rooms, and I felt more drawn to the one room, and I found myself turning around and putting my ear to the wall, and I could, from the outside, I could definitely feel him. It wasn't until a little later that I would actually see him, but not with my eyes. And so, Adam Tillery is going to have to draw him for me, because, there's documentation of the family and some that were affiliated with the family that had lived there and died. But this boy does not match any of their ages. So, who he is, it was a hotel and a brothel, potentially. I believe it was a brothel. He could literally belong to anybody. But whenever he locks in, and, it's kind of like knocking on the door of my brain, my mind, and I know who it is, every time. And then it's basically like him saying, hey, I kind of want to, talk or play. And then thankfully, I'm usually, at home when it happens. And it doesn't seem to last that long. So it doesn't seem like too much time has gone by, but it's really brief. And he always shows me the room that he's in. It's that same room, and he's always standing there, and I can see his mouth, his lips moving, but there's no sound coming out, and I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know if that's on his end or on my end. It's probably on my end. But if anybody knows of anything that I can do to get some sound, some volume turned up on that, that would be great. I would love to know what he's saying, because he's looking right at me. It's weird. It's like standing there looking at him, like I can tell I'm looking him in the eye, but I'm not there.
Have you ever seen him in a closet?
The room itself is empty, and I don't know what it used to look like.
There's no closets.
There's a boarded up window, or a window that's covered.
Yeah, it's bricked up. The window's bricked up. Because it doesn't go anywhere anymore. Because they put the two buildings together. So they bricked up that window. There's no closets or anything in there. Like Shana was saying, it had once been a hotel. It had once been a brothel. So it's just one of those rooms. That's it.
I always see him back in the back corner of the room. That it hasn't really gone any further than that. I don't pick up any other details. I just can see him, and I can see his mouth moving, that he's talking to me, but it hasn't gone beyond any further than just the connection, and the promise, that I make to always, try to come back as often as I can. But then there's some times where I just tell him, look, if you want to I don't even know if I told him, come to me while I'm sleeping and just chat your little heart out, while I'm dreaming, I'll remember it. I mean, I don't even know if he would understand that, or not. I don't know.
He doesn't speak English.
He doesn't speak English?
No. He doesn't speak English.
That's going to be a problem.
What does he speak?
He speaks German.
Haha, okay, I can handle that.
Okay.
Oh, German. I mean,
yeah, he speaks German.
Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch. Means I speak a little German.
Yeah. I'm trying to draw. I know you want Adam to do this, but I can't not do it just because I'm kind of seeing him. I'm seeing who I think is him. So just give me a minute, okay? We're not going anywhere, right, Mike?
No, we got some more time. Just while Vanessa's doing that, and I got to put scope down. Thank you, all of those in Periscope, for watching. I know this has been a little awkward because I keep moving the camera around and trying to just throw it there. But so thank you guys. I did want to thank the other contributors to the book that are down in the chat right now. It's Donna Gorton, one of our.
Can you email me? Can you Facebook that to me?
Yeah, I wish cool. It's just with a pen, so I wish it was better.
You did that really quick.
It's just a really quick pen drawing. So I'll try to add more detail. He looks, if I had to guess an age on him, because pictures drawn always look a little bit
Vanessa, can you, hang on, let me, I'm going to go to the Skype only, and then I'm going to put the scope over there, Periscope. So, come on, screen. There we go. Okay, you want to put that back up so they can see it on Periscope? And a little more to your, there we go. Cool. So there you go, Periscope. Now you see it. Thanks.
Yeah, his hair is a little longer like that.
Mm-hmm. He's got, and it's dark hair. It's dark hair.
See, the hair that I see, it's not black, but it is dark.
Mm-hmm. Like a brown, not black. But if you were to catch light on it, it would have a little bit of gold in it. You know what I mean? The way I see him, and it's weird because the reason I brought up the closet is, and this is horrible to say, but he hit me when you said brothel. And he is the son of one of the women.
You think he was hidden in the closet?
And she didn't speak English either. Okay? She didn't speak English either. I see him as being around 9, maybe a little bit younger, but around 9. And he's got he's not. It's not that he's not well taken care of. He's taken care of as good as she can, but she's not even well taken care of. But he would hide in what looks to me like a closet, but maybe it's another smaller room. He would hide when she was having to do her business.
Right.
It sounds so horrible to say that, you know, but.
Well, and there's plenty of nooks and crannies around there where he could have been stowed away during that. You know, it's a big building.
Yeah, it's very straight hair, and excuse me, I'm burping, and it comes down like hanging, unkept.
Yeah, I said it looked shaggy, like he needed a haircut.
Yes, he needs a haircut, and I guess the reason he looks a little bit older to me in the way that I draw him is he's not malnourished, but he's also he's lost the baby fat due to life.
Yeah.
You know, and that might not be him, but the second you said brothel, that's the little boy I saw. So I will, when we're done, I'll do this a little bit better, and I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to you on Facebook.
Yeah, send that to me too as well.
Okay.
That'd be great.
I'd have to look at the names again that's documented. I have the paperwork here, but I thought the kids were younger than that, and that's why I said the kid that I'm seeing does not match any of their ages.
No, not from the documentation that they had. But like you said, Shana, there's been a lot of people in and out of that building, so you know, one little boy out of how many hundreds, maybe thousands have been in there?
Bethany said they're German too. I wasn't looking at the chat because my phone had went down.
Oh, okay. Did she say that? Well, thank you, Bethany.
Yeah.
You're German? I'm going to have to bust out the German the next time we go, Shana.
I really wish you would. Yeah. Here's the thing. Can you bust out the German, but take out the education from it?
Well, yeah, since,
Yeah.
since I'm not all that fluent. I know some stuff because, you know, it took a few years.
Yeah.
But
Just like in England, you have those that speak very well with the British accent, and then you have those who are more Cockney.
well, yeah, I'd probably speak it as well as about JFK when he called himself a jelly donut when he tried to call himself a Berliner.
We'll take it. That's all right.
He
Okay,
did.
just enough.
When
Just
JFK
enough.
went up there and said, "Ich bin ein Berliner," to, you know, try to unify, you know, U.S. with Western, he called himself a jelly donut. He didn't realize it.
Oh, bless him. I don't even know where to go with that. I got nothing. Nothing.
All right. Well.
Oh, they're laughing because I burped.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They were laughing at that. I saw that. All right. Well, we're past our hour, but you know, like we care about that. So while you were drawing, I was trying to get out, and we'll finish up with that. And I'm going to put the phone back down. And thank you for all the hearts in Periscope. The people in the chat room that contributed also to the book, and I'll put the book cover back up. Donna Gorton, who is also one of our Cheshire Cats, she also contributed to the second volume of Encounters with the Paranormal, so she is in both book 2 and 3. Don Bradley Francisco also contributed to volume 3, and I know Shana didn't quite care for that one because of the creepy picture that Adam Tillery drew for that.
Dawn. Dawn, there were spiders in it.
Spiders. That was awesome. Spiders of darkness. And then Katie Hopkins also had a story in there. She was I think she was in earlier. I don't know if she still is now. And actually I actually don't have the back cover on here. But the drawing that's on the back cover, because we always feature on the back cover one of Adam's pieces of artwork, like more prominently, and that is the thing that Katie saw. And also, you can see in one of the windows there another piece of artwork that Adam drew for the book. So yeah, we want to thank you three that are down in the chat room as well for your contributions. And really anybody, if you have a story that you would like to contribute to the next volume 4, of course we will do a 4th one for next year. And we've been talking about it, and it looks like we may be helping out the Fairy Plantation next year. So that's...
I want to go.
Yeah, the Fairy Plantation is pretty happening, so we got to get both of you guys there. So, I think that's gonna do it. We're over. So we need to do shout-outs though.
Yes.
See, Periscope. I know the two that have been in there for most of this time. Lynn's White and Tom McNicholas. Tom has also appeared in the chat here on YouTube as well. So if there's anybody else in Periscope that wants to throw up their name, I'll go ahead and give you a shout out on both platforms. So again, Periscope people, this is YouTube, Haunted Road Media's YouTube channel. Check that out, and then vice versa, guys, on the YouTube. Check out the Periscope. Okay, so shout outs. Let's bring up the chat. Ta-da. Whenever it comes up, it's been like slow to bring up these screens today. Bethany Warner, thank you very much for all of your contributions tonight. Robert White from Australia, of course, as always. Real Paranormal Activity, the podcast. Go check those guys out, too. Thank you very much. Andrew Cubbage from, I almost said Australia, from Oklahoma. It's been a long night. So from Cushing, Oklahoma, we'll get back out to the Cimarron Towers here sometime. Andrew Cox, thank you as always, and we really do hope to see you on the 28th. Oh, yeah, book release event for, and I'm dropping my ink pen. Book release event for Encounters with the Paranormal is at the Mineral Springs Hotel in Alton, Illinois, October 28th. It's a daytime event. I think it's 10 till 5. So come on out for that. I'll be there. Shana will be there. Looks like Andrew Cox is going to be there. Dave and Donna Nunnally, who run It's Raining Zin, of course, are going to be there. Marsha Morrison, thank you very much. Saw your name just pop up. Bonnie Halperin, one of our Cheshire Cats, thank you. Jody Brewer, thank you as always for joining us. Shannon Maitland, thank you. And you're welcome for the great video, but thank you for joining us tonight. Dawn Bradley Francisco, I did already mention you, of course, with the contributors. Who else do we got? Zippy Davis, thank you as always. Crazy Canuck, our friend Patrick, thank you. Ether Shadow
was in there too.
What's that?
Rachel Wagner was in there too from Three Ball.
Rachel Wagner, thank you. Ether Shadow, thank you very much. And again, anybody on Scope, I know there's a few of you out there. And Lens White was on both. So was Tom McNicholas. Tom McNicholas is also one of our big Patreon patrons, so appreciate him for that as well. Chipper Terry, thank you again for joining us. And okay, there's Donna Gorton. We gave her the shout outs. Carrie Parrish, thanks for joining us again tonight. And you finally got your invite. Invites, okay. I know some of you were probably joining us tonight and maybe didn't get an invite on Facebook. As Shana could tell you all about the crazy invitation.
Yeah, Facebook
crap.
could
Oh
also
my God.
tell you about the nasty messages they got from me too for the last 48 hours.
Yeah.
Bastards.
Yeah, I've been having trouble with it too.
Yep. So
I told them to give me, they can have their update back, because I feel like everything went south after the last update, and I was like, if that's what's causing it, until you can fix it, just take it back.
Yeah, just roll it
Until you
back.
can fix it, just take it.
Apparently there's a way to do it if you have iTunes, but if you're not using iTunes, then you're kind of hosed.
Okay.
I'm looking to see if there's anybody else. And remember, Tammy Heitzman. Can't forget Tammy.
I thought I saw a Gucci star pop up in
Okay.
chat and waved, so I think that's a new one.
That's a new one. Oh, there is. Adam Tillery did show up in the chat, so I hope he heard you, Shana.
Adam Tillery!
Yep, he did. So, and if we miss you, always, we don't mean to miss you. It's just, there's a lot of people in the chat, and I'm looking at two different things here. So, yeah, very cool. I think that's probably going to about do it, because I'm getting up really far, and, okay. So anybody else, I'm going to scroll all the way back down, and if you want to shout out, do it like now. So.
Now.
There it is. Yes, Gucci Star. There it is.
There.
Good, thank you. I'm new and in love with you guys. Awesome. Well, we always love new Mad Hatters. It's awesome. All right.
Jackets.
So sweet. Cool. All right.
right.
And Joanne Rubino. There. At the end, she's saying good night to everybody. Thank you, Joanne. All right. So thanks, guys. Really do appreciate you joining us tonight. The links for the books, both the Encounters with the Paranormal, Volume 3, the new one from Horror Media, and the whole, a bunch of people, and Vanessa's Walking with Ghosts. Those are down in the description area. So just click on those and grab those. So you will really enjoy both books. So. What?
I was doing my happy dance.
Oh, doing the happy dance. Okay. Oh, wait a second. I gotta go back up. Ether Shadow says dipshittery equals YouTube reminders. So apparently there was a problem with YouTube reminders tonight too.
Oh my stars.
Dipshittery. That's kind of like, I have a term. It's called dumbassity. So kind of the same thing. I like dipshittery. That's pretty good too.
I have douchebaggery.
Douchebaggery. Yeah, there we go.
Hashtag douchebaggins. Sorry.
There we go. All right, everybody. And Catherine Hutton is saying goodnight. Okay, Catherine, thank you. So people are just popping up. Here we go. All right. You got your shout out. Okay, everybody. Have a great night. Appreciate it. Oh, next week. I know, I keep saying, we're going to go. And then it's like, oh, something else pops in my head. This is going to seem weird because I'm going to go 2 weeks ahead because this is kind of how we already planned it. I was talking with Shana over the weekend. I was like, our show in 2 weeks is actually falling on Halloween. this is cool. We're on Halloween. So we're going to do the truth about Halloween for that episode. So I think it'll be pretty informative, and we'll have a great old time talking about where Halloween really comes from. In between, some of you may have noticed that Destination America is doing an episode on Helltown, and admittedly, I have not yet seen the commercials for it because I don't get cable. I don't watch Destination America, so I'm going to actually have to go look it up and see what the commercials are. I did notice an influx lately on our Helltown video, and somebody commented on there, and I've received a little bit of information that basically it's a bunch of young guys going in there and getting spooked about Helltown. Well, I've spent quite a bit of time there. I did a whole big walkthrough tour documentary on it. Shana was briefly there. It was a little wet that day, so we didn't get too far. But we're going to go into the truth about Helltown and what is really going on there and all of that for next week. So we'll get back to our special guest in November, but leading up to Halloween, we're just kind of doing some special episodes here that I think you'll really enjoy. So that's what's on tap.
Plus, we rock, so who doesn't want to just sit and listen to us?
So in the meantime, go ahead and watch that video, the Helltown video, which is on this YouTube channel, Haunted Road Media. So it's called Explore Helltown's The Paranormal Roads video. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And that'll do it. And they're already talking about where Halloween comes from down there. 2 weeks from now, guys. But feel free to chat amongst yourselves, of course.
Well, and also, if it's okay with you, Mike, the Sunday before Halloween, I will be returning, and you will be returning from our prospective events. Your book signing and book release, and which is at Mineral Springs, and me being at Haunted Bourbon Paracon. So we might have to do an extra long show.
We can do that.
2 hour show.
We could do a 2-hour show.
We can do. Okay, I mean, the 3 of us around here are voting for a 2-hour show on Halloween.
I'm good.
Motion passed. Okay.
There we go.
There you go, guys. 2-hour show on Halloween. All right.
Awesome sauce.
Awesome.
Okay. I have to go walk.
And there's Zoe Small. Shout out for Zoe Small. Thanks, Zoe.
Shut up. Okay.
All right.
I gotta go walk my doggy.
Very cool. And those on Periscope, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. There we go. I think we got. Thank you for all the hearts. They're hitting all the hearts there. I hope you guys are hitting likes and stuff here and all that stuff. So, all right. There we go. We will see you all next week. A week from today, Helltown. 2 weeks from now, special Halloween 2-hour episode, and we're rocking here. All right. You guys have a great night.
Bye.
Key to outro, which will take about 5 minutes to come up because the screens haven't been coming up very quickly.